But we have a public hearing to start prior to the board meeting, and I'd like to call that to order. Greater Clark's required to hold a public hearing for the 2026 corporation budget. If you desire to comment after the presentation, you should do the following. Once you hear the presentation, so obviously raise your hand, come forward to the podium when you're recognized, state your name for the record, provide your comments, and have a nice evening. No, that's not what it's saying. At this time, I am turning this over to Ms. Huberger.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you know, at the work session, we are having a public hearing on the 2026 budget, and we covered all of the details in that budget, and this will give the public an opportunity to have any questions answered in that budget. However, just to remind the public that we are advertising a rate of $2, which is high, to accommodate the fluctuating assessed value and the Senate Bill 1 that's coming our way. I'm also trying to slowly control the impact of what Senate Bill will do to tax rates for all public entities. So we did get our AV in since we've published here, and it did go up a little over 6% from last year. This budget estimated 8%, so that AV is going to come down. That means that this is a good example. I'm advertising $2 with an 8% increase. If this was a 6%, that would go there. Well, at least I covered what we need to do, because I do want to at least try to minimize the impact of being at $1.15. Several reasons, so that way we're well protected and we do not hit the taxpayer with that tax rate that's coming from the state level for their property tax. You will see in the public hearing that it looks like debt service is increasing by 150%. That is just because I do have the reserve sitting in there in that line item that will be completely reduced to take this rate of 0.69 from last year to about 75 cents. So we've done everything we can with having additional information to protect the district. Additionally, in the operations fund, you're only allowed to increase that by 4%, which we did. This is your highest impacted fund by circuit breaker. You see that I'm asking for $21 million, and we will probably only need $12 million due to the tax caps. Now, this is where this becomes important about Senate Bill 1. As Policy Analytics showed you, the amount that from $12 million will substantially go down all the way through 2028, 29. So this is why we are making good decisions on things that we're doing within the district and with our budget. So I'll take any questions from the public if there are any. Mr. President, hearing none, I recommend that the board would consider closing this public hearing at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Huberger. The public hearing has now ended. At this time, I would like to call the September 16, 2025 Greater Clark County School Board meeting to order. If you would all stand with me and say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Markowski, all members are here. Okay, the first item would be the approval of the agenda, and board, I'd move we approve the agenda as presented. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Any questions or comments regarding the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed and abstaining. The next would be the regular and public hearing meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Mustaine. Any questions or comments regarding that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining. Public comments on agenda items, no. Okay, the 20-25% teacher compensation. Ms. Huberger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Is the due obligation of CFO to present to the board in regards to code 2028-928. This is in regards to teacher compensation. In the last fiscal period, not our current one, the requirement was to be at 62%. We're just shy of that, so it is required of me and prudent of me to let you know that we were at 61.19. There are two major influencing factors on this. You should not always be right up against the wall because you do want to be able to grow your compensation for your teachers without going into deficit financing. So I feel this is very responsible where we're at. What is not considered in here is I do, on behalf of just not teachers, but the entire district, transfer funds from the education fund into the health insurance plan. And that is, even though it's a benefit because it's salaries and benefits, it is all encompassing. That would be responsible out of that education fund, also operations. So that number does go down in there. So they do not consider that. So in my opinion, we are way over 62%. Additionally, the pay strand that goes on for teachers is August 1st to July 31st. This report is from July 1 to June. So you don't see 1 month of any increases that we've done for the teachers. And when there are months that have 3 pays in them, it can not hit in that period of time. Now, 12 months is 12 months, and there's always, I'm going to capture 2 months with 3 pays, but if I've given them raises, there could be a time when one does not. I've not had that experience yet. But we are still in the mission of getting the money in the classroom, and part of that is the overall maintenance and operation of the school district. Secondly, the funding floor, according to Indiana Code 2028-927, it is reflected that the official financial statement as the Form 9, where I do not prepare this. We prepare the Form 9, we send the data, but the teacher compensation, the funding formula is all calculated by the DOE, so this isn't anything that I make up. We have exceeded the requirements to spend as much as the funding floor or more. That's where I can pick up that health insurance transfer. The district spent $39.7 million. The funding floor requirement met was that was to be met was $37 million. So let me say that again. We spent $39.7. The floor, which means we have to spend more on over the floor, was $37 million. So we met it by $2.7 million. Excessive fund transfer, we talk about this extensively during the budget time. Indiana Code 2042-6 requires school corporations to make every reasonable effort not to transfer more than 15%. So far, we've not done that at any given time. And when I'm doing the budget estimates, I'm always estimating between 12 and 13%. That does change based on when funds and revenues come in. So last year, we only transferred 11.97%. So we're pretty much in target in that range that I always stay in. And those are the 3 things that I'm required to report to you. So if there's any questions, I'll entertain them.
Well, Board, do I have a motion for this approval?
Don't. We don't have to go through it, just open.
So we don't?
Now, just questions I can.
Hold on, let me look. Okay, I got you. No, I don't.
Yep,
We okay?
nope.
No questions?
Okay.
No
Okay,
questions.
so we're on target for the 26th year
that's right.
to be 12 and 13. That will grow, I guarantee you, that the transfers will grow. We have no other, we're going to resort to no other way to protect this district for duration. We do not want to get in a position where we've already lived that, where we have to make cost reduction plans that are painful that we don't like to do. So I'm going to do every effort to stay under the 15%, but there has to be some certain type of expectation how we're going to last through this storm. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item, we move along to the consent agenda. Board, do I have a motion for that approval?
I move we approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Are there any questions or comments regarding this? I know we folded a couple things into it, but I think we're all studied up. Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed and abstaining. At this point in time, we'd ask our gifts to buildings, Fair Katrine,
Absolutely.
could you help us with that, please?
Yeah, Charlestown High, Charlestown Middle School, New Washington getting a lot. I want to point out some heavy hitters. Judith, I want to say Peels because when 2 vowels go walking Oh, wait, the first one does the talking? Oh, I forget. Polls. Judith Polls, $1,000 to the Pirate Perks. And Premier Homes, $1345 for Alex Adventure Math Program for Franklin Square. Also, Intertech Mechanical Service, $1,000 for gym lights for New Washington Middle School High. And Linda Howard gave $2,000 to Parkview Middle for band, and $1,000 for theater, and $1,000 for band for Charlestown Middle School. So supporting the arts there, that's amazing. I move that we accept these gifts to buildings, the amount of $12,335 and $59.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. Do I have a second for that? Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining. Okay, we're moving right along to the library board representative.
Yes, Board, we actually went through this process several months ago, but it was found out that Chloe Motley could not meet the statutory requirements to be seated in the position, so we are recommending for approval Jim Braun as our Greater Clark appointment to the Jeffersonville Township Public Library Board.
Board, I move that we approve Jim as the appointment for Jeffersonville Township Public Library Board. Can I please have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Mustange. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed and abstaining. Okay. Indiana Tech Corporation sponsorship.
Good evening, Board. This is a partnership with Indiana Tech. They approached Mr. Loeffner and myself, and we met. They are actually offering an MOU to offer a 20% discount to any of our Greater Clark graduates starting in 2025, or an employee or a spouse, to receive that 20% reduction in any scholarship. The only exclusion is their online, it's for online. It is excluding the traditional on-campus programs. But there are a litany of different avenues that people could go in, and that's a really nice partnership for us to be able to offer. And part of the MOU, we would make certain that our employees and appropriate people are made aware of this opportunity if they would want to pursue something along those lines.
Okay. Board, do I have a motion for the approval of the MOU with Indiana Institute of Technology?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Chelsea.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed and abstaining. Okay, next is Millennium Builders, letter of intent.
Board, as you probably remember, a few meetings ago, we selected Millennium Builders, and you approved that selection. Now, we're back at the table asking you to approve a letter of intent so they can start moving forward with getting permits, working with the city, things of that nature. Also within this, it empowers me that once we get the final contract to go ahead and sign off on it, and move forward with them paying us for the land. But right now, the intent with this is this allows them to go ahead and start getting permits and getting their plat map approved and things like that. So.
Okay. Board, I move we approve the letter of intent with Millennium Builders. Could I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Perkins. And we were working through some verbiage. Are we okay with?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of this approval say aye. Aye. Opposed and abstaining.
Well, and I just want to remind people too, we're not in the home building business. Once we agree, sign off on the final contract, they write us a check, we're done. We're not building any homes. So.
Really? All right. Welcome back.
Hello again. As you know, Board, we adopted the McGraw-Hill math program several years ago, and they had approached us last year to do a pilot in grade 2 with an enrichment piece that also provides intervention and supplemental practice for our students in grade 2. It's called Alex Adventure. So they have come back, and they are trying to establish the impact of this additional program when it's used in correlation with their basic program. And so they've come back this year and offered us a pilot in grades K and 3 for free. So we said, absolutely, we'll take it. But we do have this agreement so that we can exchange our data that is unidentifiable of our students. We go through that process to remove all that. And they work with Johns Hopkins to analyze the data and come up with an impact analysis report.
Cool. Board, do I have a motion for that data approval with Alec Adventure in grades K3?
A motion we approve.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Do I have a second, please? Thank you, Ms. Mustang. Are there any questions or comments? I know this is kind of,
Yeah, because I remember us signing off on this the first time, so we have to do this, what, with every year of the study, or? Okay,
Yeah, because that was only with grade 2.
Yeah, okay.
So, and it ended, so we have to come back and do a new one, and this is for kindergarten and grade 3.
good deal. Any other questions or comments for Dr. Hartledge? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the approval for the data transfer agreement with Alex Adventure in grades K through 3, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Okay. Addendum for facilities management.
Thank you, Mr. President. In your packet, there is a request to amend the agreement between Perfection Group and Greater Clark County Schools for the facility management services solution that we've entered with them in April of '21. This amendment represents costs that will increase the contract. We, as the district, have requested them to provide us 7 additional night custodians to serve Jeff High. Per the size and needs of the building, we have determined to start with this addition. We're going to see the improvement on this, and we will have to come back to the table and see if we need any more. But as we continue this, we've requested an additional 3 full-time equivalents that would float within the district with their primary focus on Jeff High. So we're encompassing the human capacity that we need there. Also, we requested an additional day custodian, which will serve the midday shift at Jeff High. And with the addition to this staff, we've requested 1 supervisor to monitor this activity. As outlined in the amendment, we're increasing the monthly amount by $53,110 for the period beginning October 1st, giving them time to get hiring going on. This revised annual contract will be $9.16 million. I do want to duly note that even prior to engaging into the facilities management solution, now we're talking 5 years ago, we were already spending $9 million, right? And that is just on facilities management. That wasn't your skilled craftsmen. So if you think from 5 years ago, what raises we would have had to implement, things that we would have had to do, we would have been way over $12 million. So I'm very, very confident in that we're being fiscally responsible and approaching this in a request need to make sure Jeff High is well taken care of, but also trying to monitor our finances as we go along. Doesn't mean this is the stop-all, be-all. We will be on a bid process, so it'll be in real quick, short order that the entire district will be reevaluated again by this team. We have not affected the guaranteed savings amount that they guarantee us of $346,000. That still is intact. So if I tell you that we were already at $9 million, and I would say we'd be easily at $12 million, they easily are guaranteeing me $346,000. So I am recommending the Board of Trustees approve the amendment to the Facilities Management Solutions Agreement as presented.
Board, do I have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, and I'll second that motion. Any questions or comments? Yeah, I just want to, so we're going to have a team lead for that, so will it be AM, PM, or just AM?
So right now, what we have is we have a overall manager, which is Amy Lindley. We have an operations manager. We will have a day manager and a night manager, right? This is all district-wide. And so then at Jeff High, we will have the 5 custodians in the day. We will have a Jeff High night manager. We will have a new supervisor. Right now, we have 5 night custodians. We're adding 7 there, plus the 3 hires. Did I cover that correctly? Okay. So we have the district still in mind.
Right.
To make sure that the other 13 buildings still proceed. Amy does have that commitment, but she does have the supervision to help her with that, because that's a lot of area to cover. But we've added that supervision level into Jeff High to, we have working supervisors right now, and that's what's kind of making it difficult to make sure that they're checking.
Right.
And then if somebody's off sick and they're doing the work, so that's kind of spreading everybody too thin on it.
Yeah.
We've got additional.
I just wanted to make sure somebody was on site with them,
Yes.
you know, and not that we don't trust them, but I know when my father had me do things out in the yard and he went inside, they didn't get done. So that's beside
Well,
the point.
as you know, at Jeff High, there's activities all the time too.
Correct.
So the outside is
Correct.
considered, and they are monitoring with that training on how this process is gonna work, so that way that outside is also taken care of. You know, we can't stop,
Right.
you know, some
Absolutely.
trash blowing in. However, when we have those events, I mean, it's constant. And it's not just, you know, your games that we all know about, but there's multitude of practices, even some small meetings amongst the, you know, the groups. So there is a process of checking that. And when someone calls off sick, this is why we're doing the float with the focus there. It does, everybody's significant in a school district. Let me just say it how it is. Everybody's significant, their presence significant, and what they do is significant. So we feel it when one is absent. So we've got people in now. If we have to hire more float or more people, we will then get on it and do that. But I really would like to see how we do with this. If we get closer to when it's time to renew the big contract again, we will make sure that we have folded in those costs of what we need to expand that service. We're having very, very intense discussion about that, because I'm writing the bid specs right now to make sure that whoever's going to bid on the process understands the magnitude of what we have. So
Awesome.
Also, knowing that, you know, we have 2 more schools we're adding, right? So people are covering large hundreds of thousands of square foot. We've gotten that all taken care of, but now, you know, like the folks that are at Parkview will be going into River Ridge. Well, that is even going to be a little bit bigger square footage than what they're doing, so we're going to have to do that. So that's going to be in your new contract. An elementary that didn't exist, that's going to be in your new contract. See, they know the future that's coming, but we will disclose to everybody that future's coming. More mobile ground. If you think about Founder's Point, that's got to be considered. So this is going to, you know, be something that we're going to try to make sure we think of everything.
Sure.
And have plenty of supervision through that. Even on our lawn maintenance, we do look at that seriously as well. So not for lack of trying. I mean, we have got, you know, a lot of positions that are going to be coming open for perfection.
I think the other thing we didn't foresee coming out of COVID was, you know, the labor market and how much turnover we would have to, you know, in the custodial, even Airmark food services, and managing through that, you know, and so this will help with that turnover piece.
And that's a good point, Superintendent, because we do have the same problem with food service.
Yeah.
We do have some flexible people that move through. So they're constantly hiring. We're constantly, you know, telling HR, can you add on our website that please come to Airmark, please come to Perfection. So yeah, it's really good.
Good deal.
How many new badges do you do a week? Is it over 20? So, yeah.
Any other questions or comments, Ms. Huber? Okay, all those in favor of the approval to the addendum to Facilities Management Group between Perfections and Greater Clark County Schools, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining. Okay.
Thank you, I really appreciate that.
Thank you very
And
much.
looking at that, this is important. Okay, this next is the Founder's Point CM contract. Normally we come with the estimated budget, which is pretty close to what we're thinking that the entire project will cost. But we're at a point where we have got to get started on digging and getting into the ground. So they quickly did a bid on that process, and then the rest will come. So normally you see it at one. I'm coming to you at two phases this time because we really want to get them started. So, so we're going to call this phase one, and attaches contract agreement between CORE, who is our assigned CM, for Founder's Point. CORE was awarded that prior to this project being approved because it was in the project outline of our 5-year plan. The guaranteed maximum price contract is $12,019,795, and is the only portion of the project that covers earthwork and concrete. The CM has provided the bid opportunities for this portion for this work to make sure that they get started before the winter months. And this will be one of 2 guaranteed maximum price contracts. This will be supported by the bond approval earlier this calendar year, February. The series will be defined because I don't need it till now, so they'll go ahead and get started, and by the time the billing comes, I will have those funds in-house to start paying for that. Again, not taking it all to try to save that interest rate. And I recommend that the Board of Trustees approve this contract between CORE Construction as the CM in Greater Clark County Schools for the phase one of Founder's Point Elementary.
Board, do I have a motion for that approval?
I move that we approve the contract between CORE.
Thank you,
For the
Ms.
phase one.
Hutchinson. I'll second that. Any questions or comments for Ms. Huber? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstaining.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving right along. Board comments. Mr. Jones?
I'm good.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Nope.
Mr. Crump?
I attended my first, school board training with the Indiana State, the conference for Indiana State School Boards, and it was a very jam-packed day yesterday and this morning, but it was very informative, and they had some really good sessions, so I was glad to be able to attend. And the beds are really comfortable at the West End, so. That's all I got.
Not tonight.
Mr. Freeman?
Like just the second what Chelsea said, we brought back a lot of ideas that we're probably going to bounce off each other, see if anything that works for us. A lot of times at these conferences, we're dealing with different school districts of, different sizes. So of course, they give presentations on everything that they've done that works for them. Because of our size, because of our uniqueness, because of our different communities that are in the district, they might not work for us, but we can take bits and pieces of that and then, of course, integrate it in our plan. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yep, me too.
Also appreciate the opportunity to go to this fall conference, and again, it was very informative, some good sessions. And like one guy said, you should always leave things better than what you found it. And I think that's what our board tries to do every day.
Just part of that conference, at that president's meeting this morning, there, of the districts that were represented, and I'm going to send out something to you all, but the construction of some of these school corporations are struggling. They're having to put on the brakes. They talked about the state mandated how, minimum teacher pay, and a lot of them were struggling with that. And then everybody wanted to go and Senate Bill 1. And I just I felt sort of guilty that we are ahead of the game with a lot of this. And I wasn't going to be one that bragged about how hard we've worked to make all this work.
I wouldn't feel guilty at all. We worked very hard. There was a time where this board was not cohesive, and there was a time where our teachers were not paid as well, and everybody was miserable, and I would stand up and be like, we have worked our asses off.
Yeah.
I would.
When I said I felt guilty, I didn't finish. I did say,
Oh, okay, sorry.
I mean, to be quite honest, but I was,
had like a group of people chasing him when he comes.
Did it?
yeah.
He had a granite.
Yeah, that guy from
dove into
LaPorte
the-
was fast, man. I lost him on the stairs, though. He's a little older than me, twisted his ankle. But no, I want to, I think, giving credit where it's due, Mark, the cabinet, Laura, the financing, And then, too, they got in the weeds a little bit about about curriculum instruction, A to Z, all the business that the state's putting on us. And I think curricularly and support that, I think we're really doing really
there.
well, man. We're in fifth year and we were accelerating, so I was real proud of us.
I also enjoyed the conference. It's also enlightening to go and network with other superintendents and see what they're dealing with. And on the way out, I was going down the elevator with a superintendent from the region area, I'll just say that. And it's like, oh, you're heading back? And he goes, yeah, you too. I said, yeah, I'm going to a school board meeting. We got a board meeting tonight. And he goes, oh, I have to go back to my community and try to sell a 26-cent operating referendum.
Oh, nice.
Which is, they're increasing it trying to increase it from 18 cents to 26 cents. So an 8-cent increase, just for operating referendum, so that they can try to find money to pay their teachers more, and a few other things, take care of some safety issues. So I was happy that I was just coming back to do a regular board meeting and not have to do a presentation like that in front of a community and tell them we want to raise their taxes.
We did have a real sleepy keynote speaker there at the end, but that's beside the point. I'm sorry. It wasn't me that fell asleep. All right, Ms. Markowski. I know, and I thought about you.
You got a lot of work done, didn't you? Yeah.
See, everybody else would say, oh, yeah, I slacked off, but you go, yeah, I got a lot of stuff done. All right, I need a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Second. Thank you.